Hi, I'm Ashley Shanley, and I'm your district attorney. I'll be entering my second term. Before that, I worked my way up through the DA's office for the past 29 years. And I've worked in every court that we've had. And more importantly, I worked with the most important people in the courthouse, the clerks. Because without them, they are the record keeper. They are the ones who professionally store and keep the evidence, or cities' murder cases wouldn't be able to go and have convictions. They're the ones who keep the judgments. They're the ones, if there is someone who is seeking a 50B protection order because they're afraid, they go to the clerk's office. They're the ones, if someone is seeking child support or child custody, it is the clerk's office. And so I was honored to be asked to facilitate this. If you want to come and have a seat. I do want everyone to know, because I think when I was asked to facilitate it, I knew that my reputation was also on the line as long as the candidates. And I want you to know that I reached out to all three of the candidates. I've known them all for years. And I told them that I would be reviewing the questions, and that the questions would be the same questions for all three candidates, and they would only be questions that I thought were fair and relevant. And so I am glad to be here today. The way I see this is, you guys, we are all conducting a job interview because someone is going to be our clerk of court. And so I want you to join me and ask questions and listen to what I think is relevant for our next clerk of court. All right, good evening. Good evening. We'll start with the first question, and I believe these questions were approved by the exec board. The clerk of court oversees a large, complex office with diverse responsibilities from record keeping to personnel management. Would you summarize your supervisory experience and explain how you would ensure efficient, well-run operations?
Well, I have 30 plus years of experience with the clerk's office. 19 of those have been as an assistant, which is a supervisor within the clerk's office. The clerk's office has some work to do. We have, one thing I would change about the clerk's office is I would have an open door policy. Every citizen that comes to the office, I will make sure that you are treated with dignity and respect and kindness. It will be like you are visiting Chick-fil-A. It is our pleasure to serve you. Another way that I feel like another need that a clerk's office needs is the attorneys play a vital role in our clerk's office. And up until recently, they were able to come into the office and visit with the clerks and speak to them. Until recently, the doors have been closed to them. And I will make sure that those doors are open up to the attorneys, because the attorneys need us, we need them, we are a team, and we work together. North Carolina just put in a new $1 million system. I will utilize that system to the max. I think we need virtual hearings where they are able, by statute, attorneys are, they will go with that. And I'm sorry, it's just awkward me being up here by myself. It's kind of disappointing, really.
I feel another question. Let me ask this one. Okay. You talked about this expensive new system we just had. It's called Odyssey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just for those who haven't heard the entire court system all over the state complain about it, Odyssey, the intent was good. The legal system is the last to be modernized. But we went from all paper to all electronic. And I think everyone in the room will say that it was the clerk's office that got hit the most. I believe that the Cabarrus County system it was successful. And so I would want to ask this. Would you describe what you personally did to try to make this system successful for our citizens and for the others who use the courthouse?
Wow. We started back in, let's see, it was, where were we, 26, so it was October 2024 when we implemented, we went live. So we started around June, going through every case files, thousands of case files. Pending cases, we would go through, we got them scanned. Ms. Shanley was kind enough to do an inventory control report where her and her office went through thousands of cases to see if they could dismiss them, close them out. We went through countless hours of training. It was a lot. It was a lot that was crammed into a few months. But it was a team. It wasn't just the clerk's office, it was the DA's office. It was, the attorneys that helped us. But we went through a lot of training.
The clerk's office has over 50 employees. And just like any government agency, there's trouble with turnover. You can't pay these people enough, and their job is very important. As the clerk, what would you do? Tell me about any strategies you would have to either recruit new employees or keep the ones you have.
I just retired in July, this last July, from the clerk's office. And I had firsthand of things that needed to change, and leadership is a very big issue that it needs to change. My plan is to, if I win, go into the clerk's office. We are going to have a clean slate. I'm going to interview every single employee that is there. I want to know your weaknesses. I want to know your strengths. The clerk's office does not do yearly evaluations with the state that technically is recommended by the state. They do not do those. I'm going to implement the evaluations. And there's a lot of training that AOC has provided for us, for the clerks, for the assistants. And we are going to implement training, and we're going to go through some leadership classes. I think that would help.
You talked about the struggles that any clerk's office would have, and you talked about how you're going to be the Chick-fil-A of the clerk's office. How would you measure success? What goals would you set for your office so that they could know whether they were achieving what you wanted them to achieve? Is there anything in addition that you talked about that you would like to work with them to make sure that this is the best office?
I think cross-training on the campaign trail, you wouldn't believe how many times someone has said customer service. I had somebody that I talked to last week, asked a question, and the clerk shrugged their shoulders at them. I don't know. We're not going to be an I don't know clerk's office. We're going to be, I know, one. If I don't know, I'm going to go to Risa, the clerk, and if I don't know, we're going to find the answer. If I have to call you back, I'll call you back. But we're not going to be a clerk's office of, I don't know, and this is the way that it's always been done. We have to have change in the clerk's office. We cannot continue down the road that we are on.
You talked a little bit about the team approach. A clerk, it is important that you have the relationships with the judge's office, with defense attorneys, with the DA's office, with law enforcement, with probation, parole, all the entities in the building. Tell me how you personally have relationships now with those agencies.
That is one thing that I recognized when I came to Cabarrus, was that we did not have relationships with the DA's office, the judges, probation. I came from Mecklenburg, and we had monthly meetings. The clerk's office is not a one-man show. It cannot run on just the clerk's office alone. You have to have the support from the DA's office, the judges, the attorneys, all key court officials. So I would recommend that we gather a team, a committee. We meet monthly, bi-monthly, with the sheriff's department, the agencies, the DA's office. Come together and we help each other out. Because there have been many times in the clerk's office that I've gone to Ms. Shanley and to her DAs, and immediately it was fixed, it was a problem, and it ran smoothly. We have to have a community of leaders if we're going to make it work.
The next question is, the North Carolina GOP platform emphasizes family, religious freedom, and personal responsibility. How would you advocate for these values inside the clerk's office, making sure that all of your employees felt that they could express their religious freedom, family, etc.?
I would make sure that we had an unbiased office. I am very familiar with that, coming from Mecklenburg. I have different religions, different beliefs, and you have to respect them. You have to respect what they believe. And we will not be in office where we make fun of them, or, we support each other. We are a team, no matter race, color, religion, it doesn't matter. We will be a team, a family.
As the clerk, if a close personal acquaintance had a matter before your office, how would you ensure impartiality and uphold the integrity of the court by avoiding any conflict of interest?
I would make sure that me personally would not be involved in those situations. I would allow the supervisors in that department to handle those cases. And if need be, if I need to come in, I would come in. But I'm going to have a team of strong supervisors where they are able to supervise their departments. And I feel sure that they will be able to handle any issues.
If you were asked to step into any role within your clerk's office, you're the clerk, I'm talking civil, criminal, estates, how prepared are you to perform the specific duties and responsibilities of each of the staff members with the same required accuracy, efficiency, and attention to detail?
I do not know every single department in the clerk's office. I'm not good with estates. But I have already started visiting other clerk's offices that have a high rate of expertise in those departments. And I will be in elbow-deep training to learn every single department, every single job that is in that office. I'm not going to be a clerk that doesn't know. I don't want you to come to me and say, how do I do this estate? I'm not going to be one to say, well, I don't know, go to the supervisor. I want to know every single process that is going on in the clerk's office, but I don't know. And you will find that's not unusual. It's not unusual that the clerk doesn't know every single job in the clerk's office. But I do want to know every single process that goes on in our clerk's office.
A voter submitted an inquiry to ask if you have ever supported, promoted, or campaigned for a Democratic candidate or worked against a Republican candidate or nominee.
No, ma'am, I have never supported a Democrat candidate nor worked against a Republican candidate. No, ma'am, I have not.
In the news a couple years ago, if you recall that Murdahl murder trial. Well, the clerk of court entered that case after that long trial, and the Colton County Clerk of Court was accused of multiple forms of misconduct, including jury tampering, obstruction of justice, and perjury and misuse of her office during that trial. And that action jeopardized that conviction. As the clerk overseeing the jurors, what are the strict boundaries and protocols that you would maintain to prevent any risk of juror influence or misconduct in Cabarrus County?
As a clerk, your job is to welcome and thank the jurors for coming. You cannot have opinions or comments about the trial or anything that is going on. You should not have unauthorized conversations with jurors alone. You should not give legal advice, because if you do, then you risk a chance of a mistrial, meaning that the DA's office, the whole case has to start all over. So you shouldn't have any personal relationship, personal conversations with any juror about the case at all.
Describe your background and why you believe you're the best candidate for this job.
I started the clerk's office when I was 24 years old, April 5th, 1993. I have worked in Mecklenburg County under some of the most amazing judges and DAs and clerks and attorneys. And I feel like I have 30 plus years of experience with the clerk's office, hands-on. I've been in courtrooms, I've been in trials, I've done office work. I know what works, I know what doesn't. And I just feel like I would be the best candidate because it is my passion. I have built my whole career around the clerk's office. And I love it. And I'm tired of seeing the mockery that is happening within the clerk's office. It is a very serious office. It affects so many lives. And people that come into the clerk's office daily, I can only think probably of one thing that you do in the courthouse that is a happy time, and that's adoptions. And to be honest with you, I'm excited about adoptions. I don't even know if we even have done adoption in Cabarrus County because I've never heard of one or seen one. But I'm excited to do adoptions in the clerk's office. But I just feel like that I'm the right candidate because I have that passion, I have that drive, and
The last piece was a closing statement where you get to say anything that you would like to say, bring up anything you'd like to bring up to convince this audience that you're the right person to talk about something you would plan to do, something that you would like to see changed. This is for you to sell yourself for the job.
I'm gonna be very honest. This table back here empty is very disappointing.
Yes, yeah.
I have shown up for every single event, nervous as can be, to speak in front of a lot of people. And I think that says a lot about me. I think that says a lot about how determined I am. I always say when something amazing happens to me, I always say, God showed up and showed out today. Well, I'm gonna show up and show out at the clerk's office. I'm gonna be there every day. I'm gonna train those girls. I'm gonna make them feel like my office will always be an open door, not just for them, but for you. I want them to feel loved. I want them to feel respected. I don't want them to feel belittled and torn down and torn apart. I've got work to do. I've got a lot of work to do in the clerk's office. Is it going to happen overnight? No. Will I make mistakes? Yes. But I will learn from my mistakes. And when I make mistakes, it won't be a mistake. It'll be a lesson learned. And I hope that I do have your votes. I've worked very hard. I've shaken a lot of hands. And I've loved every bit of it. I've loved meeting the wonderful citizens of Cabarrus County. It's not hard sitting in this chair. It's not hard looking at y'all looking at me because I'm one and y'all are about 50. But I can promise you there's no doubt in my mind that I am not the best candidate for this position. My heart hurts for what's going on in the clerk's office right now. It's not meant to be that way. And we can restore. It needs to be restored, and it needs to be repaired. And I'm ready for that job.